Hello everyone, and welcome to the lecture on variables. In this lecture, we're going to go over some conventions on naming variables and how to assign variables in R. Let's go ahead and jump to RStudio. Alright, so here we are RStudio, and what I'm going to show you is just a couple things that we're going to be learning as we begin our journey on learning the R programming language. And the first one we want to know is how to actually comment our code. So what if you just want to leave yourself some notes either in your script or in the console? What you can do is use a hashtag, and this is similar to the Python programming language, and then whatever you write after the hashtag, such as this is a comment, if you end up running this, you'll notice that nothing comes out. So let's go ahead and show that in the console. So if I say something like print hello, enter, and then if I were to do the exact same thing, but with a hashtag in front of it, notice that I don't get any output because R won't read anything past the hashtag because it treats it as just a comment. So that's one thing I want you to be aware of. And now let's go ahead and discuss variables and how to assign variables. So variable names, by convention, start off with lowercase letters. So if you had something like variable, you would say use this assignment operator and then put in whatever you want to assign that variable. So what's actually happening here, we created a variable name, in this case it's just called variable, and we use the assignment operator, which is this, basically looks like an arrow, which is nice for readability. So it's this less and then a minus or a dash, so they form an arrow, and then on the right hand side, whatever data object or data type you want to assign to that variable. So for this lecture, we're just going to be dealing with integers, since that's something we've dealt with before in the example of arithmetic. So here I'm assigning the integer 100 to the variable called variable. So if I call variable again, and then go ahead and just click enter in the console, it'll return its assigned value, which is 100. So let's go ahead and imagine another example. We'll say bank and assign it 1000. So now if I call bank, I get 1000 out as the assignment. So that's how a variable assignment works. And you'll notice here in the environment, if you ever want to know what variables you have or what values you have in your global environment for this session of R, you can reference this here. So just some quick style guides and convention points. Usually what you want to do is, let's say you wanted to have multiple words in your variable name. What you would do is separate them by a period or a dot. So we can say something like bank account and then assign that 100. So that's acceptable. Sometimes you also see this sort of notation, bank, and then instead of a dot, they just write a capital A. What you won't see in R as often, and is usually known as a bad style, is to use an underscore. Now it'll still work completely, so each of these is technically correct. You can use all of these methods, but the most common styles you'll see is this first one right here, with a dot separating each of the words. Alright. Later on when we discuss functions, we'll go over the style guides for naming your functions. And functions will actually usually start with capital letters. So finally, let's just go ahead and show a quick, simple example of how you can use variables to perform calculations and operations in R. Let's go ahead and clear the console. And here in Windows, I'm clearing the console just by doing Control L as a shortcut for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, make a variable deposit, assign it, let's just say 20, enter. So now I have my deposit, and I'm going to say bank account, bank.account, and I'm going to reassign bank.account as my current bank.account plus my deposit. So notice here, before I actually run this line, my bank.account variable is equal to 100 and my deposit is equal to 20. After running this line, what's going to happen, if I click enter, my bank.account is going to be equal to 120. So that's going to be the 20 plus the previous 100 value of bank.account, and it's going to update that variable, which is bank.account. And that's the basic way you can use variables and variable assignment operations in R. Okay, hopefully everything was pretty straightforward. The main thing to get out of this lecture is that this symbol, this arrow symbol, is what you're going to be using for variable assignments in R. Okay, thanks everyone, and I'll see you at the next lecture.